Sometimes in the Wild West, you got bears that fight each other, like in a duel. They'll run around, jump around, sometimes even fly up in the air for some random reason, or even if they see a human being, they'll say, screw this crap, go straight for you, eat you, and then go fight each other back to what they were doing about 5 minutes later. What's up, people? Nut Puncher. I'm going to be talking about an early access game I picked up a couple days ago called Chambers. And this is a Wild West boomer shooter. I don't know exactly the team. I don't know if it was a single developer that made this. It might be a small team that did it. But Chambers is a game that is like very humorous. It also has a lot of jankiness to it. Let's go ahead and talk about my experience playing it for about 5 to 10 hours. Essentially, you have this guy named Axper that starts off in this, like, his own home, and you have this supposedly dead wife laying inside of a rose coffin. And these guys, these Reds, pop up and they're in these weird kind of ships, and they're looking like they're made of blades or pieces of metal, and they sometimes look like a helicopter that's in reverse. And they take the coffin with your dead wife in it, and they go and leave somewhere else. And you have to go and find her. This is actually one of the boss fights you deal with. This guy's named Six Shooter, and he's got 6 arms, and he all has revolvers in all of his hands, or arms rather, that he shoots you with. So if he's going to shoot you multiple times, you're going to probably die within maybe like a good 2 or 3 round burst. Always a good idea to be behind the wall. But after you beat him, then they show the pathway or passageway that you can go off and explore more of the world. You also have Glanton, who is going to be the guy that helps you out every once in a while in boss fights. Sometimes you have to go and do a mission for him. For example, you have to make this thing called the Moonshite Bomb, which is that using guano from bats, gold, and I think it was liquor, and you would basically make a bomb to blow up one of the metal walls that you'd see throughout the game. When I said about jankiness of it, I mean that a lot of the mechanics from within this game are pretty janky. Not to mention when it comes down to using your hat. Though it looks like you're using a lasso, you actually have to use a hat to throw up on top of the cliff there, and then you can climb it. The other thing, too, when it comes down to your inventory, or rather your equipment, is that different equipment do different things. For example, the hat and the lasso allow you to grab people and capture them. Other times you can climb up a wall without needing to jump, even though if you hold down spacebar, you could climb the entire mountainside as long as you have edges to grab. You also have boots that allow you to kick, and then you have armor like your torso that do reduce damage from getting shot at. You can also dual wield in the game different pistols and different shotguns, as well as a rifle that has auto aim sometimes, and you can loot the dead bodies of the people you kill. For example, if you go into this kind of like mine that goes into another area with Glanton, you have to fight off these Reds that pop up from different corners of the world and start to shoot at you, trying to stop you from doing what you're doing. Another thing is that with the jankiness in this game is that yes, it is early access. What does that mean? A lot of changes, a lot of bugs, a lot of issues. For example, when you go off and fight some of these units or some of these enemies, they'll stand still. Other times they'll get stuck on walls and even be inside a wall. Or, like for example, if you go up behind them, they won't even turn around and shoot at you. This will probably be fixed later on. But if you start to shoot at people that are around them, or engage them with bats that are currently flying in your face, and they have to constantly keep eating food to stop them from killing you, that is also a thing that can happen. These weird things that will pop up, like the bats, for example, that will constantly bite the shit out of you, or they have these machines that look like a gigantic metal horse, will pop out from being like a rock and then destroy you instantly, and you can't really have much of a chance, but they'll tell you, or show you rather, what they look like. For example, the robotic horses will look like giant rocks, but they're a little bit lighter. Then you have to deal with the bears that take quite a bit of shots to deal with, and you can find some of these places that have a campfire and multiple stores. This campfire will allow you to cook food that you have. Like, say, for example, you have barbecue, you have vegetables, and it'll turn it into actual, like, or rather corn, carrots, and some other things. It'll turn into vegetables. And you can use that to heal yourself when you're in combat, going on the tab button, and using eat something, which I think might be the only way to really be able to eat something via the quick menu. Otherwise, it'd be going into your inventory and randomly clicking the right click button and then eat something. So I think that the way the tab would work is to be much faster. Another thing is they have this weird kind of card game inside this game, and they had like numbers in the middle where it was kind of difficult to see. The green is actually the health of the card, the red is the attack of the card. The entire premise of this game is to capture your opponent's cards, and whenever you lose your entire hand of any card that you have, and you have the most amount of captures, that is who the winner is. And when you win, you get two choices: cash or respect. Now, cash is a given. Obviously, we know what that's going to be like, and that can be anywhere between $25 to $80. However, when it comes down to reputation, I think when you get a high enough reputation score, you're able to have people join you for your missions. The default when it comes down to them joining your party is $70, and I don't know if this gets higher or lower depending upon the respect, but I've had about 4 people join me, 1 guy on a horse, 3 other guys walking around. Some other times you'll go to campfires and you'll see people playing music, and that guy was playing a crappy version of whatever he was trying to sing. However, that's a 50-50 chance because sometimes they'll play really good music. And I want you to actually listen to the music I'm going to show off after going up here and getting this gold, which you can actually acquire by getting a mining pickaxe, going up to it and pressing the E button as long as it's inside your inventory. And that is actually one of the songs that you hear them sing in the campfire. Going back to the card game, like I said, when it comes down to being able to capture all the cards or the most amount of cards that your opponent has, it'll give you more respect in cash, allowing you to buy things at the stores. For example, they have upgrade, gear, and guns are the 3. Then you have the bank that you can stash stuff. If you actually look at the top right portion of the screen, it shows a mouth chewing. That's essentially where you'd be able to eat. Then you have the different equipment like the hat, the ring, and then the horse whistle to be able to get your horse to come with you whenever you wanted to go and ride around, which the horse kind of feels like driving a car or trying to drive a station wagon in Red Dead Redemption 2. It's pretty floaty, and the horse really isn't running so much as he's sliding around, so it took me a little bit to get used to being able to use the horse. When it comes down to the weapons itself, they have the 1858, which kind of reminds me of the uppercut from Hunt Showdown. And the only reason why I say that is because of the way the recoil is and the fact that the gun hits very hard. A lot of the elite units you deal with get down in like 1 or 2 shots. Anybody else that's like a normal unit, it's a 1-shot kill. Same thing with the dual-wielding sawed-off shotguns or even the sawed-off shotgun in general. You have 2 shots and then you reload. You have 4 shots if it's dual wield, and you can dual wield the 1858s as well, and they have 5 shots each. But if you have 1 gun, you can actually keep the durability of your guns pretty low. Every gun in the game has a durability, and once it's gone, you can repair it if you want to, but it's better to just drop it and then go pick up something else, especially from somebody that's got higher units with higher guns, armor, and weapons, or even ammunition that you could pick up. And a lot of it's going to have weight. The game also has a weight mechanic to where if you have too much, you become encumbered, and you have to go store it in a bank or sell it to be able to get rid of it. Same thing for if you pick up a person's body, like a bounty, and you can go carry him back to Dry Hole and sell him to the saloon, which you won't get the full asking price, sometimes like $1,800 or even $700. They'll give you maybe about half of that, maybe a little bit more. I have a total of about 6 hours in this game so far, and I will say that when I first bought this and played it, I was afraid because I wasn't sure if it was going to launch. It does have some optimization and some other issues, but let's go ahead and talk about some more of that after you listen to this other campfire song. It's always a vibe when going into a place like Dryhole and seeing people play guitar and singing and even walking around. Actually, talking about the icons and the compass, they have different colors as you see. The yellow arrow shows the objective you're trying to get to, while the blue is your allies. Yellow is neutral and red is enemies. Orange is like maybe a target you're supposed to go for, a bounty. It is somewhat hard to tell when it comes down to this game, but I will say with the 6 hours I put in it so far, I've been loving every second of it. Early on, I talked about some issues with this game that I had. One of the things I do remember is actually this problem of the volume. There's only one slider for the volume audio. There's not different tracks like SFX, music, background setting, or even like dialogue. It's all one thing. So that's one problem I have, and hopefully they can change that. Another minor issue I have is when some enemies get stuck inside the wall and they can shoot out from it. Sometimes they can't hit you, other times they can. It does have that really janky feel, and it does have some other crazy shit going on. But for about $15/$20, do I recommend it? I absolutely do. I think it's real fun, and I think people should definitely try this one out. It's an open world, quote unquote. I can't really say how linear it is, but there are a lot of places to go to, places to pick up gold, being able to try different weapons, and fighting off different enemies and different missions to go with. Not to mention the weird things around the map. For example, that kind of pulsating, looks like anomaly from Stalker, that's possibly something that could maybe kill your character. Other times they'll have the Bronco that's metal that will pop up and start kicking the shit out of you while it's midair. And then you have the giant grinder in the sky, which no one knows what the hell it is. That being said, I've been One Nut Punch, and this has been the Chambers video. Definitely will be talking about this game with more developments coming out since it's in early access, and I'll keep people posted because it's definitely one of those guilty pleasures I have. But anyway, thanks for watching as per usual, and I'll see you in the next one.